Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's play some Stacklands, shall we? Doing a complete beginner's guide to this game here in 2023 in its current state with the order and structure update live. This game I didn't know much about at all. It was recommended by some friends on the channel. I took a look at it and I just fell in love with it. It is a peaceful, fun card game, board game, deck building, RTS kind of mashup, city builder in there as well. It's a unique experience, but everything feels intuitive once you understand the basics. So that's what I want to kind of do for you here in this guide. We're going to start up a brand new game. I have cleared my save file completely so I can start up just like you will, and you can play along with me or just watch to see if this might be the kind of game for you and you want to play it. And I'm going to begin from the very start of the game and walk you through my thought process, the UI, the controls, basic strategy and tips. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to show you the fastest way to win the game or anything like that. I'm going to try to not spoil as much as I can and just explain to you the fundamentals so you can enjoy this game at your own pace and see the mystery of things as they emerge. I'm going to try to give you as many interactions as I can at the beginning so that you just get a grasp of the game and then can run with it from there. So I'm going to go ahead and click Start New Run. And the default settings for a new game are to have your moon length at normal and to be in not have peaceful mode on. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, if you want the game to be easier, you can make the moon length long, or you can make it harder if you want to go short. But for a new player, I recommend either normal or long, depending on, how much of a challenge you want. And then I'm going to go with peaceful mode off because I just think the game experience is about having enemies every once in a while. But if you don't want that, if you want to just chill out and build without fighting at all, then just turn on peaceful mode. I'm going to play with these default settings and click Start Run. So when you begin the game, you're going to see a game mat that has this kind of beautiful green pastel with some kind of charcoal pencil and watercolor graphics. They're simple but soothing, as is the music and the pace of this game. That being said, it can get stressful and frenetic when you're trying to survive, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's just discuss what we see on the screen. So over in the left panel, the game gives you quests, which are kind of objectives for you to do to unlock more game content and to help give you a focus, okay? You don't have to complete them rapidly, but they are certainly things to build toward if you want to progress in the game. Now, the other tab here is your ideas tab, and this is kind of like your blueprints for things that you can craft, but right now we don't have any ideas because we haven't found anything yet, so this is empty. Now you'll notice when I moused over this, all of the badges cleared, but it will put a badge indicator, which is a circle, red circle with an exclamation point saying, hey, this is a new quest that has emerged because you have completed a quest and something else has popped up. Now, you can zoom in and out on the game board with the mouse wheel, but not right now because the game is paused. In the upper right, you're going to see a couple of UI boxes that are giving us some statistics about the game. This is telling us how much food we have. Now, when I mouse over this, you can see on the panel that we discussed over on the left in the bottom, it says food. Every moon you need to have 0 food to feed your villagers. You currently have 0 food. So basically a moon is 1 day, 1 moon cycle. And in this game, I guess you could consider our moon cycles to be a month, but I always took it to be a day. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is meant to be a month. I don't know. That's just how I kind of processed it. So you need to have food depending on how many villagers you have, and this number will scale up. So right now, we don't have any villagers, we don't have any people to feed, there's no mouths to feed, 0 is required. But as this goes up, the right side of this fraction is basically going to tell us how much food we have, and the left side tells us how much food we need. So you really, really want to obviously have enough food to feed everyone, or bad things happen. This middle icon is telling us how much money we have. So this is the icon for coins. We have 0 coins. And this tells us our card cap. So this is saying that our current card cap is 20, and we have 0 cards. Now, what this means is we can play on the game board 20 cards currently. We can't have any more than that, all right? So for the time being, that is our hard cap. But we've played 0, so we're not there yet. Now, this is Moon 1. This is the current time, okay? And you can push space at any time to pause the game, or push pause to have the game play again. You know what? I said we couldn't zoom out because we're in pause mode, because time is actually not moving. But time's not moving because we haven't opened this pack. So you can notice when you're in pause mode because the music kind of trips out, the pitch bends, and it slows down. And the color kind of really fades out even more, and you see this paused word blinking, all right? You can unpause, and I recommend pausing the game all the time so that you can really just take inventory of what you've got and what you want to do, because this game is real time and the moon is passing, and the pressing concern of feeding your people is going to be upon you. So let's go ahead then and open this booster pack that says Stacklands Booster Pack New World, and I'm just going to left click on it, and you'll see that I open it and a card pops out. All right, now I'm going to pause the game. Immediately, now that we have a villager, you can see this moon bar is filling up. This darker portion on the left of this bar indicates that time has elapsed, and when this fills all the way up, it's a new moon, and it's time to pay the piper. And what pay the piper means, in this case, is feed your people, generally. So if I don't have 2 food, okay, I'm going to have to make some sacrifices, basically. Now, as would normally be the case, I explained this based on the sequencing of words in the lower left. But really the way to interpret this, I apologize, and I thought this was the case, but I was just like, maybe I remembered it wrong. No, the left side of this fraction is how much food we have, and the right is how much we need. So it's basically we have 0 out of 2 food, which would make sense. It's just the way that it's phrased in the lower left. You see it says the 2 before the 0, so it just confused me. Anyway, now we got that straight, and everything's okay. Let's talk about how to look at this. This kind of star with the number 4 means that there are 4 cards remaining in this pack. I had 5, I clicked on it, 1 popped out, and this villager is a new card. Now if I mouse over this villager, it says he's a hard working pioneer. They have 15 health, and their combat level is 12, okay? So it also says it can't be sold, which is important. Now this card, I can pick this villager up and I can move them around. I just left click on it to pick them up. They make a fun sound effect, and I can hold left click and drag and move this around. All right, so this is something fun that I'm able to do, and I don't need to do anything with this villager right now because there are no actions for them to do. But if I click on the booster again, a berry bush pops out. Again, you can mouse over this to see what it does, and in the lower left it says a bush with delicious berries in it. So one way to think about this game is it's like a colony management game. It's like a, Sim City or Don't Starve, I guess, like in the wilderness. And I've got this berry bush, okay? And down here, it has a 1 in the coin symbol, meaning I can sell this card for 1 coin if I want. But you don't want to do that because this is going to provide us with food. So the game doesn't necessarily tell you this, but you'll figure this out, which is that this color of a card, okay, means that I can interact with it. And you interact with things in this game by, well, it's called Stacklands, right? By stacking. So if I take this villager and I pick them up, you see how the berry bush now has a dashed line that's rotating clockwise around its perimeter? That means that this is something that this card, the villager, which I have selected and picked up, can interact with. And if I actually drag this villager on top to stack it, then the villager is actually going to work the berry bush. So think about it like I gave the villager a job to go pick berries, and the bar up here is beginning to fill in. Now it fills in, okay, from right to left, whereas the moon bar is filling in from left to right. So just pay attention, and this is a progress bar that's going to fill up, and when this fills up, we're going to get berries that will pop out that we can eat and will count as food. All right? Now, I have 2 cards out of my 20 limit on the board. I'm going to click again, and I'm doing this all while it's paused. Now we got a rock. It says it looks sturdy yet punchable. All right? Now, if I want, I could take my villager, okay, and I can drop them onto the rock, and you can see that they're going to start working on the rock. You can change your task that you're working on at any time. So this is like, hey, can you go mine this rock for me and produce resources that we might build with? Okay, that's something that's really cool, but we don't want resources right now. We want food. So I'm going to put them back on the berry bush. Something that's important to note when you're moving your cards around and you're stacking your villagers is that the progress bar will reset if you take them off of a task. It will not remain. So switch at your peril, knowing that you will lose all progress on whatever you are working on if no villagers remain there. Okay? I'm going to click and open another pack, and we have some wood. Now, this is itself a resource, and it says as much in the lower left where it says wood, a simple resource. We use this for building things, and it's worth 1 coin. Now, notice how it's a lighter gray color. Cards that you can interact with are, well, I guess cards that you can work, like occupations maybe, or stations that you can work at are this kind of dark charcoal color. And then this lighter gray is the resource color. All right, and I'm going to click on this again, and we got a coin. And it says in the bottom right, quest completed, open the booster pack. So we did the very first quest, and if you look on the left panel, it says the welcome quests. We've completed 1 out of 12, open the booster pack. That was one of them. I could click on this in the lower left to dismiss that indicator, and now it is indeed telling you to drag the villager on top of the berry bush. So it does tell you how to play. I forgot about that. I haven't done the tutorial in a bit. I had a game that was, I think, 52 moons into it. I had cleared the initial area and was working on some of the later DLC that they had added. Well, it's not really DLC at this point. It's just free if you buy the game. The game is very cheap. It's only $5 on Steam, I believe. So it's a super bargain. It's a fantastic game. But anyway, let's do the quest. So I'm going to take the villager off the bush and put them back on there so that we will hopefully get credit for this once we unpause the game. Now, the coin, humanity's best friend. Well, I guess in capitalism it sure is. I'm going to put this over here, okay, just to kind of leave it so that we could spend this on it. Now, the wood is telling me that I can interact with the coin. And if I drop it, it says you have a stack of cards, 1 wood and 1 coin. Now, the way I interpret it is this. The reason it's telling me with this indicator that they can interact together is simply because they can stack together. Because to pay a cost for another card, I might need a wood and a coin, for example. It's just a way to keep the game board tidy. But notice how I cannot drop this coin onto the rock. They kind of move away. They're like, you can't do that. So what I like to kind of do is just arrange my game board. So you might say, okay, resources go over here, and these are resources. Coins have a different color because, they're different than stones or rocks or whatever, but they are resources, so you could group them together. I like to then put my workstations in a similar location on the board, and then I'm going to unpause the game. And we're just going to let this villager work on the berry bush. You see the bar filling up, and I'm going to pause it just to show you. You see the moon bar, it's not filling up that fast. So we're easily going to finish this before the moon passes. Thank goodness. All right. Now I can zoom out, and I'm going to pause the game. So at this point, I can now zoom in and out. I think they lock you from doing that until you open the booster pack, perhaps. I'm zooming in and out of the game space with the mouse wheel. All right. This game is basically just played with the mouse. And you can grab the board at any time and hold left click to move it around. But this is like a playmat, and this kind of marks the boundaries of your playmat. Now, notice up here, there are all these different black card silhouettes that have question marks on them, except for this one on the left. And it says you can sell cards here to make coins. So if I wanted to take this wood, I could, you see how the sell box up here on the top of the game mat is indicating that it can be interacted with the dashed clockwise rotating line. I could drop this on here and get a coin. I can also, it plays mostly with the mouse. There are key commands for this, and it says you can sell by using backspace. I use the keyboard almost exclusively to pause the game with spacebar, but backspace is fine too for selling. If you don't want to just have to pick it up and manually drag it that far away. Another thing I like to use the keyboard for is for speeding up time. So if I push tab, I actually make it go faster. You see how if I unpause it, it goes to like double time. If you want to speed something up, go ahead. Push tab and go to a faster speed. To pick your berries faster or something. Just know that everything is speeding up. The moon phase is speeding up as well, for example. All right, so we completed the quest of drag the villager on top of the berry bush, and we got this quest complete. So I'm going to dismiss the indicator, and we got a berry. You could see that the berry gives us a coin. We can sell it for a coin, and in the bottom right corner, it has the toast icon for food. This is worth 1 food, so I always like to keep my food over here. And now it says I have 1 out of 2 food. Now this is going to flash red at you to tell you you are in dire straits food-wise. Like you have a starvation problem. So you need to get to this number, okay? If you do not get to this number, your villagers will die until you can feed villagers. And if you have no villagers that you can feed, I believe you will lose the game. I've never had that happen, but I think that's what happens. So you always have to have enough food to feed your villagers, and if you don't, they die until you have enough food to feed them. So this is how you lose this game. So make sure you get more food. But we're going to. If I unpause the game, boom. Now we have 2 out of 2 food. I'm going to stack the food together. You see if I pick up the berry, I can just stack these. And this is Stacklands. This is kind of what you do. You could pick up your whole stack and you can drag it around. I like to just arrange my game board. Now, some players, they like to space it out big time. Notice how you can't drag this outside of the playmat. And they want to maximize their space. And that's totally fine. But I actually like to play with the game a little bit more zoomed in. I just like how it looks. I can read things easier. That's just for me. But if you want to, play at this level and, have things really spaced out, then do whatever you want. All right. Now I'm going to kind of zoom in back on this, and you see our next quest is to mine a rock using the villager. So I have made some progress here that I will lose if I take this villager and put them under the rock, but I'm okay at this point. I have enough food. So once I've got enough food, it's time to focus on other tasks, to progress, to make our city bigger. So I'm going to take this villager and drop over onto the rock. I'm going to unpause it. And I'm actually going to push tab, just speed it up. Boom. And we got a rock. And now it says, new pack unlocked. Humble Beginnings pack is now available. So now we have a new booster pack we can open. I'm going to pause the game. If you're not familiar with CCGs, collectible card games, booster packs are like buying a pack of Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, baseball cards, whatever it is. So if you buy one of these, you're going to get a random assortment of cards out of the Humble Beginnings set. And the way that Stacklands works is that you are trying to make a complete set of cards, basically, to uncover all of the possibilities, and you need to keep buying booster packs sometimes to do that. So, for example, in the lower left, it says, if I drag 3 coins, I can buy a pack of Humble Beginnings. You see the cost underneath. Humble Beginnings has the 3 coin marker here. So I have 2 coins, so I need 1 more coin to get there, right? Now I could sell this wood right away and just buy a pack if I wanted, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to wait a second. Now, if I mouse over this, it says, this pack may contain rock, berry bush, and wood, which I all know, so I can see that those are the contents. But then there's 10 cards that I've never seen before that are mysteries, and it won't tell you what these cards are that you can unlock from this pack until you buy it and you see them. And you have to get the card one time to uncover it, and then once you have all of the cards for the set, it will list them all, and you will know exactly what you can get. There is a possibility that you will get the same card that you have before. You might not even get any new cards in your pack if you've unlocked a few. That's also a possibility. But it's not the end of the world. In fact, a lot of the time, you want a particular card that you've already seen before. So we want to get, for example, berry bushes to feed. So berry bushes, I hate to tell you this, are limited. Okay? They don't have unlimited uses. So you can pick all the berries on the bush, and then the card evaporates, and then your food source is gone. So having more than one of these can be helpful. Now the next quest says to sell a card. So they do want us to sell a card. So I could sell the rock that I'm about to get, or I could sell the wood. And I'm actually going to sell the rock, okay? Oh, or no, I'm not. So let's talk about a few things that just happened. Number one, you see the rock that I was working on, it's gone. It has been destroyed and exhausted. So I'm going to put my villager on the berry bush. We got a flint, and it says it's used to start fires. Okay, so this flint is actually worth 2 coins. I could sell this and make a bunch of extra money, but if I were you, I would keep this because flint is something that you need. And some drops from like a berry bush or a rock or a tree are harder to get than others. Actually, I think the berry bush might only be able to give you berries. That I could be wrong about that. Maybe it gives you stick or coin, but regardless, sometimes, okay, you want to keep these more rare cards instead of selling them, because when you need a flint, if you don't have one, you're going to be upset and you're going to keep trying to get it, and you might not, because there's RNG involved, you might not get one. So I suggest hanging on to this. I'm going to sell my wood instead. Now notice when I mouse over the berry bush, it also tells me in the lower left it's going to take 10 seconds of unpause time to get another berry. The reason I'm not selling a berry, of course, is because we need food. I'm going to sell this wood. So I'm going to just drag the wood onto the sell box, and we get a coin. Now we have 3 coins, all right? Now, if I want, I can just pick up this stack, okay, of 3 coins, and then just drop them on there, and boom, we got a new booster pack. So we completed the quest of mine a rock using a villager. We sure did. Sell a card. We did that one. And buy the Humble Beginnings pack. We just did that one. So now we have a new booster pack right here. Humble Beginnings. I'm going to click on it. A card will pop out. It's just a resource. It's a stone. All right. So we'll put it over here. And I'm going to put this. And, oh, we got another berry bush. Good. Now, I'm going to show you something. You can actually stack berry bushes. So if you have a similar workable resource, or station, I should say, you can stack them like this. And then you can also stack more villagers to work multiple locations. All right, it's just a way to keep yourself tidy. I like to do it. It also makes it so if this berry bush exhausts that you're working on, then the villager won't pop off and be idle, have nothing to do. They will immediately start working the next berry bush and lose no time in between. So it's a nice way for max efficiency. I'm going to click this, and we got ourselves a tree. So this is a new resource, and it says harvest a tree using a villager for the next quest. So let's do that. I love to complete these quests. Now, you notice the ideas panel is still empty. One thing that you want to do in this game is constantly see what stacks. What are the interactions if I stack these cards together? So stone, you notice how I can put it on flint. If I put these together, okay, and I put a villager on these, does anything happen? No. So I'm going to instead work the tree itself and keep these apart. Okay, so sometimes you can just mix and match, and if you find the right recipe, you will unlock an idea yourself without having to be told by the game what it is. There's also the potential to unlock blueprints from booster packs, which will just right away tell you the idea so that you know how to do something. All right, I'm going to unpause it, and we're going to go ahead and harvest the tree. So now it says make a stick from wood. So we've got some wood right here, and I'm going to just let the villager go again, and we got some more wood, and the tree is gone. Now it says make a stick from wood. How do you do that? Well, you can take a resource, and you can actually have a villager work on a resource, and they're going to break apart this wood into a stick. Let's just see this happen, and we get a stick. So we got this quest completed, harvest a tree using a villager, make a stick from wood. And then it also says pause using the play icon in the top right corner. So I should have mentioned this before, I apologize, but you can actually just click this bar at any time to pause or unpause the game instead of using the space bar like I use. But I like to just use the space bar. Now, we've got a stick. And it says grow a berry bush using soil as the next quest. Well, we don't have any soil, so we're going to need to get soil, and the only way we can get cards that we don't know what they are at this point is to buy them from booster packs. We only know one booster pack. It's this Humble Beginnings pack. Okay, fair enough. What can we do? How can we make money? Well, I'll tell you how. I'm going to sell a stick. All right, I'm just going to actually mouse over it and push the backspace key. You'll see I immediately get 2 coins. And I'm going to sell a stone. Backspace, 3 coins. All right. And I'm just going to pick this up and drop them over here. And we got ourselves another booster pack. It says complete 2 more quests to unlock new packs. Indeed. So you unlock these booster packs to unlock more functionality in the game by completing the quests. So the quests guide you and give you goals, like I said earlier, but they also help you unlock new booster packs so you can build further in your game. All right. So I'm going to open this booster pack. We got a rock, which is another workstation. We've already had this before. We got another rock. I'll stack these up. Notice, by the way, when the cards like pop out, they interact with each other. They kind of bounce each other around, and you need to constantly readjust the game. It just gives you something to do. It's part of the charm of it. And we're going to click on this, and lo and behold, we got ourselves some soil. So how do we grow a berry bush using soil? Well, you guessed it. I'm going to go ahead and work the berry bush to make sure we have an extra food. And I'm going to put this berry in the soil. So I'm planting the berry in the soil, okay? Nobody has to work this. This just does it on its own. Some things will work like this, all right? But you see how slow this bar is to fill up. And, oh, it is time to pay the piper. End of Moon 1. Time to eat. You hear that bell ringing? So you have to click this button, Feed Villagers. And what happens is food will automatically go into your villager's mouth. Now, it's really hard to tell, like, to have the game choose the food that you want. As far as I know, it's random. And the game will just pick food and feed it to you. The game will usually leave food that's being worked for last. And so what I mean is, this won't be plucked off randomly as one of my choices, the berry that I've planted in the soil. But if we're going to starve to death, it will take this out and feed it, if my memory serves. I'm pretty much certain that that's how that plays out. So we're going to start day 2. And now we have 2 berries. I'm just going to keep working this. We need to have food anyway. And this is a slow process, as you can imagine it would be. All right, now we have nothing left to work there. So I'm going to actually just work these rocks. This is up to you how fast you want to go in the game. If you want to go real fast, you can just sell your flint and your wood. You don't have to listen to me about saving this. I like it. But if I got another one, well, then maybe I would sell it. But for now, it's kind of like I don't have that many of them. Okay, we got a stone. But I have enough food for 2 more moons with just 1 villager, so I don't feel hard pressed. I'm okay just waiting, popping out stones from the rocks, and maybe using these to try to buy another pack. I'm going to actually push tab, speed it up. Alright, so at this point, the villager has nothing to do. So this is a good point to sell. This is actually kind of how I like to play it, which is like, if I have idle villagers, it's time to just buy a booster pack to give them something to do, because I feel like time is wasting. So what do I want to sell? I'm actually going to just take this whole stack of stone right here, and I'm just going to push backspace on the whole stack, sell all of them in one go, drop this up here, and buy a booster pack. And, ooh, look at this. So this is what a blueprint card looks like. I keep calling it blueprint. That's just what makes sense to me, but it's an idea in this game. It's a stick. And it tells you that it takes 1 wood and a villager to make a stick. Now, we actually already knew this. Okay, if I go to the ideas panel, you see that we already knew this, but there's some good things about it. First of all, in the ideas panel, this blueprint is permanently stored, so I can always go to the idea panel and mouse over this to remember how to make a stick if I forget. It's 1 wood with a villager working on it. That's how you make that. But because this is permanently memorized in my ideas panel, I can actually sell this card back for a coin. There's no reason to have it anymore. So once you get an idea, you learn it and you can sell it back. All right, let's open the pack, and we got another stone, and we'll open it up, and we got yet another stone. So I'm actually going to take 2 stones, and I'm going to just sell them, group my coins up, and I'm going to drop it on there and get another pack. I'm going to open the pack. We got a berry bush, slide it over here. We got a stone, and we got another stone. So I'm going to have the villager working on the berry bush. Okay, and what do I want to do? Actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the villager make the wood into a stick really fast. This is something I like to do early in the game if I have the resources for it, which is turn wood into sticks, because it basically just gives you 2 coins. You need to have sticks, you need to have wood, but if you're looking for money, it's a great way to just use some labor to quickly turn a wood into some money. So now I could just sell these 2 items, and I could stack them and just push backspace, and now I've got 3 coins to buy another pack. Click on it, we got a stone. Click on it, we got a wood. And click on it, and we got another wood. Well, now we got some surplus money because I got a stick. I'm going to put this guy back on the bush really fast. I'm going to sell these, and I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to buy another pack. All right. And we got a rock, and a berry bush. Okay, so I will stack the berry bushes, and I will stack the rocks. Because I have enough food, I have 4 out of the 2 food. Really, I only have 3 out of the 2 food out. But yes, this verifies what I said earlier. This is counted as one of your available food until it's done. I'm actually going to go to the rock because I'm going to try to get some flint, make some cash. Now, sometimes, you see how that happened? If you get lucky, so you can kind of plan this maybe, if a rock will pop out and it will go in the right pile and automatically stack for you. So let's see if we can get that. Yep, we got it again. And boom, we completed the quest. Grow a berry bush using soil. Fantastic. Now the next quest they want us to do is build a house, which we don't know how to do. So I have this soil, and I'm actually going to take the soil, and I'm going to take my extra berry and plant it, just to get berry bushes. All right. End of Moon 2. Time to feed the villagers. Let's go ahead and do that. And they eat the only berries that I have, except for this one. And we're going to start Moon 3. All right. So now we have a bunch of stone that we mined up. And we can use this to buy some booster packs. I'm going to put my villager working these berry bushes right here. And we need to get food immediately. All right, so we need to get 2 food so that we don't use the berry that we've planted, and that's no problem. We can just drag this over here. Actually, we have to sell it first, and then drag it over here, and then we have a new booster. I could sell this again too, but it's best to open the booster before I start selling anything. All right, so here's what we've got. We've got 3 bushes to get food, so food isn't a problem. And we've got plenty of things that we can sell if we need money. But we want to build a house, so that's what we're looking for. And everyone, I think this is a good first look at the game. This explains how to play, the controls, the UI, basic strategy, and it also gives you enough, I think, to work with if you want, without any spoilers, to kind of experiment and see what you can do on your own. Remember, you can unlock ideas on your own by getting the right combination of cards together, and they're usually very intuitive. All right, so like, for example, to build a house, well, you can only assume that you're going to need some wood to build a house, and we don't have enough at the moment. But how much? Do we need sticks? Do we need wood? What kind of a ratio do we need? How do we figure that out? You do it by either getting the idea unlocked or by being lucky and figuring out the combination on your own with trial and error. So this is what I recommend you do as you move forward. This is a great game. I really can't state that enough, and it's super enjoyable. If you have any questions about the game, please post those in the comments below. I'd love to help you out. And let me know if you want to see me play further in the game and show you some more content, some more boosters. See what happens when things get harder, when you have to start fighting enemies or feeding more villagers, for example, and the pressure is on. I'd love to explain that if you're interested. Everyone, thanks for watching. Take care.